Welcome to Channel Japan. I'm Makia Rai.
And I'm Makiko Tsuda.
Every week we bring you the freshest information out of Japan right here from our studio in Tokyo.
From the economy, culture and even foods, if you want to find out what's happening in Japan right now, this is where you'll find it.
The Project Japan.
Utsuda-san, recently the Japanese government finalized its growth strategy, hasn't it?
Yes, now the thinking behind this strategy is that by reducing investment tax and deregulation, that would encourage capital investment, the restructuring of businesses and also companies to enter into growing markets. And the hope is that this will lead to stimulating the growth of the Japanese economy.
What is the goal?
Well, the aim is for Japan to recover from deflation and to revitalize its economy, and the goal is to increase gross national income per capita by 40% or by $16,000 in 10 years. So the idea is that for Japan's economy to recover, it needs to make more bold investments.
So today we'll show you a video on INCJ, the Innovation Network Corporation of Japan, an enormous investment fund.
Yes, with the Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry taking the lead, the INCJ was launched in July of 2009 under a public-private partnership. Now, the INCJ says it has an investment capability of about $21 billion. And so far, by cooperating with the private sector, it has invested a total of approximately $6.3 billion in 39 cases.
So let's take a look at what goes on in this gigantic investment fund.
In July 2009, the government launched the Innovation Network Corporation of Japan, or INCJ, aiming to provide support for technologies and research that have a high growth potential.
新たな技術、ノウハウ、人材を結集させる事業に取り組むこととなります。
The INCJ is capitalized at $2.9 billion provided by the government and 27 private corporations. Its investment capability is about $21 billion. They began investing in 2010. First, $102 million in a subsidiary of Alps Electric. Further investments followed in a range of areas, including Japan's first low-cost airline, Peach Aviation. The INCJ's most distinctive feature is that it mainly targets venture firms and, in particular, invests in technology and research which are thought to carry mid- to long-term risks. This is an ophthalmology research lab in Kyushu University. Studies into a new kind of medication are being conducted here.
今中央にある赤い部分が、こちらが目的の病変部位、わかりやすく言うと病変部位になります。
They are researching nucleic acid drugs, a new type of drug which affects a protein called periostin. Periostin is said to cause conditions such as atopic dermatitis and diabetic retinopathy that's connected to blindness.
糖尿病による失明はだいたいそうですね 20%。糖尿病の患者さん自体がね非常に今増えてますので、だいたい1000万人近いというふうに言われてるんですね。だからそういった人がやはりその失明の予備軍になってまいりますので、そういう意味では非常に重要な疾患だと思います。
Up to now, diabetic retinopathy was treated through surgery, but this places a heavy burden on the patient's body, and the condition can progress even after the procedure.
新しい薬の開発というのはやっぱり待ち望まれているというか、そういった状況だと思います。
These two researchers in the university lab have been dispatched by a drug discovery venture firm established in March last year. They are researching and developing new drugs through joint efforts between industry and academia.
私この前職はボナックという会社にいたんですけども、でそこでボナックで研究、開発されたですね、日本初のですね拡散干渉というですね新しいプラットフォームがあるんですね。でこれをなんとかですね創薬につなげたいと いうそういう思いからですねこの会社を作っております。
どうもこんにちは。
どうもこんにちは。どうもこんにちは。ありがとうございます。
But developing new drugs is extremely high risk, so the INCJ stepped in. In April this year, $4.6 million were received, and a stable research environment was finally established.
国内だけでなくてアメリカ、ヨーロッパをはじめとした、海外の市場に対しても販売できるような医薬品の、開発をしているということからして、世界市場で1000億円の売り上げというのがありますので、そこが目指せる医薬品だというふうに我々は考えています。
The INCJ has invested $6.3 billion in 39 cases, mainly venture firms with such hidden possibilities. Because of the high risks, each case is reviewed over a 6-month period on average. The INCJ has its own conditions for investment, in addition to those such as profitability and feasibility, which are also set by private investment firms.
我々はですね、投資インパクトというですね、3つ目の評価軸を持っております。これはどういうことかというと、その案件そのものだけじゃなくてですね、その案件をやることによってその周辺の産業にどのような波及効果があるのか、エグジットした後にですね、どのような影響が残るのかということですね。
Among investment that focuses on such impacts, investment in Japan Display Incorporated, a manufacturer of small and medium-sized displays, was a huge surprise. In April last year, the firm received a massive $2 billion.
世界でナンバーワンにならないとですね。
ノークエスチョンで世界ナンバーワンですよ。
The INCJ is aiming to make the country's display industry number one worldwide.
私たちは全ての産業を押し上げることはできないわけで、一つの成功事例を作ればですね、それは市場を通じてそれを他が真似ていけばいいわけですね。どんな小さな技術であろうが企業であろうがですね、グローバルで戦えるかどうか、もう日本のマーケットはこれ以上大きく広がることはないわけですから、マーケットを外に求めていかなきゃならない。その中でグローバル競争の中で戦えるかどうかということが非常に大事。
The flat-screen television market is dominated by South Korea's Samsung Electronics, holding 26.1% of world shares. Domestic electronics manufacturers were lagging behind, so Sony, Hitachi and Toshiba merged their small and medium-sized display subsidiaries and established Japan Display Incorporated last April. Its target is the small and medium-sized display market of tablets and smartphones, expected to grow annually by 20 to 30% over the next 5 years. By avoiding large displays such as TVs, the company has successfully grabbed the world's top share in small and medium-sized liquid display panels. The INCJ invested $2 billion in this merger. With a 70% stake, it was an unusual example of investment.
東芝、日立、ソニー3社ですと1社の売り上げがやっぱ1500億とか2000億、この規模ですとカバーできるお客さんの数なんか限られてしまうんですね。世界でナンバーワンにならないとですね、この業界っていうのはやっぱりなかなか安定的なビジネスになっていかないと。
The company bought one of Panasonic's large-sized display factories next door and spent $1 billion turning it into one that specializes in small and mid-sized display panels. Through this, production capacity doubled, and there were other benefits as well.
この統合の意味っていうのは単なる規模の追求ではなくてですね、技術の先進性を高める、あるいは日本の強みを高める、こういう意味で僕は非常に大きい意義があったと思います。
Japan Display Incorporated was able to produce the world's top quality products by incorporating technology such as Sony's in-cell touch sensor technology and Hitachi's in-plane switching technology.
3社みんなが お互いの手のひら、今もう一つの会社ですから開けて、蓋を開けて中身を見て、あ、こういうふうにやってたの、じゃあ一緒にこれ取り込めるねっていうことを一生懸命みんながやってるの、こういう時技術やってるのワクワクするんです。
Furthermore, it's on the offensive. It's also researching and developing the next generation organic electroluminescence display.
いや、これまさに世界最先端ですよね。
できるだけ早い時期にその株式上場をして、やっぱりこう一人前の会社になるっていうのは、その過程として我々は持っていますけども、ジャパンディスプレイが本当に、やっぱり勝てるグローバルカンパニーになるっていうことですよね。
1+1 が2ではなくて3でも4にでもなると。それを見た他の会社さんたちも、例えばこういう成功例があるんだったらこうやってみようということで、要するにそのリスクを取ってですね、前に進んでいくというようなメンタリティ情勢含めたところに一つでも二つでも貢献できればいいのかなと思っています。
In the past, Japanese electronics were highly competitive, but have since been overtaken by South Korea. Right now, it's winter. Will spring return through INCJ investment? This old factory was built 33 years ago. It's a venture that manufactures optical devices like LEDs. 15 years after its establishment, it successfully developed a groundbreaking product through extensive research and overcoming financial difficulties. This is the product.
ちょうど直径が 1.2 ミリのサイズになります。
They're actually spherical solar cells. The electricity generated from conventional solar cells decreases according to the time of day because the sun shines over different parts as it moves. But with a round cell, the same amount of electricity can be generated 360 degrees, wherever the sun shines over it. One cell can generate 0.1 milliwatts and is expected to be used in things such as outdoor sensors. Furthermore,
このように緑色の LED がつきまして発電していることがわかると思います。
by connecting a series of cells, even more electricity can be produced. It's also possible to generate electricity by joining the cells to various material, such as cloth and film, not just glass.
忙しいビジネスマンの方からスマートフォンのチャージャーを作っているとよく言われるんですけども、まさにそういった用途を想定した試作品となっています。
Why did the company develop such a cell?
従来の太陽電池と一味も二味も違う特徴のあるものを作らないと、この業界に参入できないということなんですね。じゃあどういうふうにしてその一味二味も違うものにするかということで、考えたのが球状という、形がまん丸い形の太陽電池とこういうことになったわけです。
By 1995, the production technology was already in place. But before business got off the ground, they were faced with the problem of funding.
製品作ればそれに伴ってですね、さらに改良がありますし、用途開発もございます。そういった資金がだんだん拡大する一方なんですね。でそれは強制自社で単独では賄うのは限界があると。
So the president asked the INCJ to invest. In May last year, the company received $5.1 million, and the huge project got underway.
で一番大きな市場として見ているのは、BIPV 市場という市場になるんですが、その建物なら建造物なら建造物全体のボディで発電をすると。このうちの例えばそうですね、10% ぐらい置き換えるというだけでもですね、数千億レベルのマーケットに成長すると。
At the time of the investment, the INCJ suggested investing jointly with electronics powerhouse Hitachi High Technologies.
どのお客様も一様にですね、サンプルをもう見た瞬間に目の色が変わるというか、見た瞬間に非常に見栄えがいいということで、ぜひ具体的にあれに使ってみたい、これに使ってみたいというようなお話も出てますし。
Hitachi High Technology's strength is its sales routes in overseas markets. One important pillar of INCJ's investment is to bring venture firms and major companies together.
当然のことながら企業文化も利害も、全然異なるわけですよね。そういうところに対して我々が仲間としてバランサーであり、時に接着剤と言ってもいいと思うんですけれども、そういう事業運営上のですね、役割を果たす余地があるというふうに考えています。
Japanese animation and manga, or comics, are popular abroad. The scale of the North American entertainment market is around $492 billion. The global market is said to be around $1.4 trillion. Young employees are having a meeting here in this company.
例えば日本のアニメですとか漫画、小説、ゲーム等を発見してですね、それを世界で売れる商品のある意味設計図、脚本を作るという仕事をしています。
The company is called All Nippon Entertainment Works Incorporated. It develops and produces remakes of manga, films, animation, TV programs and other content of 20 cooperative firms to sell abroad. In fact, it's a venture established by and a 100% subsidiary of INCJ.
いろいろな日本のコンテンツを幅広に扱うことで海外から見てもその日本のコンテンツの窓口だねっていうような存在になれたらいいねというところがあったので、もともと既存の業界のプレイヤーさんですとどうしてもどこかのコンテンツホルダーさんの子会社であられたりですとか、そういうところもあるので。
In addition to crossing former boundaries, it has also appointed as CEO an American producer with a proven track record in planning and developing Hollywood films.
There are many people in Hollywood, of which I am one, who are huge fans of the creativity, the history of the entertainment industry and the film business. That is, at the core, the genius of Japanese creative endeavor.
ソフトコンテンツみたいな、いわゆるエンターテインメント、そういった文化産業を日本の産業の柱として育てていこうと。
Japan's industrial world is often said to come out on top with technology, but not in business. Can the contents business win in the world market?
It was interesting to see what the Innovation Network Corporation of Japan does. Well, it must be difficult for startup companies to make bold investment moves, even if they have the potential to thrive in the future. But the INCJ must be a big help for such companies.
You could definitely say that. That's not just the INCJ. The government has helped launch other public-private partnership funds. And just to give you a few examples, there are funds to help companies become more competitive in the global market, and others that help businesses in agriculture, forestry and fishery industries. And also there are plans to launch a Cool Japan Fund, which is a fund that is to encourage exports of Japanese cultural industries, such as, contents in the anime sector and such.
Well, that's it for Project Japan. After the break, we'll be showing you a popular documentary program. Stay tuned.
Hey, look at this. They're building a huge steel plant with Kobelco technology.
Kobelco? Never heard of it.
It's Japanese. They can make iron with incredible speed. What once took 8 hours can be done in just 10 minutes.
Wow, the Japanese are incredible. The country of karate.
Ha! 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 Karate has nothing to do with it.
True.
The talk of the world. Kobelco.
Mitsubishi Electric is helping to change the environment for the better around the world.
Green subway systems in India.
Green air conditioning systems in Singapore.
适合台湾的环保节能电梯。
Echo changes for a greener tomorrow. Mitsubishi Electric.
Changing emissions from copper refineries into fertilizer. That is where Sumitomo Chemical got its start. For 100 years, we've been delivering the power of chemistry around the world. And we will continue to help make the world a better place for the next 100 years and more.
Mitsui & Company.
Sasuke, a new type of sports entertainment program conquering the world.
It's about human achievement and people's passions, and I think that relates to almost everybody.
From Japan to the world, Ninja Warrior, Tokyo Broadcasting System.
You're watching Channel Japan. In our next segment, we'll introduce you to some of our popular documentary programs. Today, it's from Japanese Dream by TBS. So, Utsuda-san, what's today's theme?
Yes, today we'll be showing you a researcher devoted to improving the quality of farm produce by selective breeding. Now, through her method of irradiating heaven ion beams, she can breed crops efficiently in a shorter period of time.
So, take a look at Japan's cutting-edge technology in selective breeding.
A novel experiment is underway on the shores of a disaster-struck area. Her dream is to open the way to the first variety improvement research of its kind in the world. Variety improvement research seeks to improve agricultural produce in various ways, including resistance to disease. Normally, it takes at least a decade to bring such research to fruition, but a magical beam can achieve the same results in 3 years. Dr. Tomoko Abe was the first to succeed in using the method in Japan. Her positive outlook helped her overcome many obstacles to create over 100 cultivars. Abe firmly believes that variety improvement research can enrich our lives.
私が作った品種が世界中で栽培されて、みんなが美味しいってすごく喜んで食べてもらえたら、それはとても嬉しいですね。
Here is a variety improvement specialist taking on a formidable challenge.
I have a dream.
The Riken Laboratory in Saitama Prefecture conducts cutting-edge research in physics, biology, medicine and other fields. Abe is developing many cultivars here. She is attempting to shorten the typical 10-year requirement for variety improvement to a mere 3 years. Her secret weapon is located in the basement.
これが私たちが使っている加速器です。
The accelerator weighs 2,000 metric tons. By accelerating the nuclei of atoms, such as carbon and nitrogen, to half the speed of light, the machine generates heavy ion beams, a type of radiation.
ここから出てきて、で、ここに植物サンプルを置くんですね。
The heavy ion beam targets the cell nuclei of areas with rapid cell division, such as the germ in seeds. When the cell attempts to repair DNA damaged by the beam, mutations that lead to desired traits in new cultivar may arise. An experiment is about to begin beyond these thick doors. Several plant samples are on the table where the beam will be projected. The staff monitors the process in a separate room. Heavy ion beams irradiate each plant sample for 5 to 20 seconds. Is it safe to expose plant DNA to heavy ion beams?
太陽を浴びてても太陽の中に入っている UV って紫外線で DNA が傷つくんですね。でそうするとほとんど傷ついても治されるんですけれども、稀に治されないとやっぱり自然突然変異というものが発生します。で、14ビームで誘発している突然変異っていうのは原理はそういう太陽光を浴びててっていう DNA が傷つきますっていうのと同じことですから、広く自然界にもある、現象になります。
In other words, Abe is recreating a natural process through artificial and more efficient means. Her current project involves improving wakame seaweed and kelp. Her use of heavy ion beams is a world first. She wants to help restore the Sandaku region's seaweed farms, which were devastated by the earthquake and tsunami in 2011.
三陸のワカメのいい品種、高品質の品種っていうのを作りたいんですね。例えば、早く育つとか、どこの湾でも育つことがうまく育つっていうようなワカメも作れるんじゃないかと考えています。
The beams are used on gametophytes, which are young seaweed grown from spores. This research, which may help the recovery effort, has special significance for Abe.
東北大で博士号を取りましたので、非常にあちらの宮城県の方々とかにはご支援していただいたりしてましたから、ぜひ私の技術を使って恩返しできることがあればとても嬉しいと思ってずっと思ってたんです。お役に立てると嬉しいなと思います。
Abe studied biotechnology before joining this lab. It all began 17 years ago when a researcher from a garden industry manufacturer visited her. "We'd like to create a unique flower," he said. Abe thought it might be possible using an accelerator. However, there were obstacles. At the time, accelerators were primarily used for physics research. Biologists, such as Abe, had to wait until the physicists were done with their experiments late at night. Her heavy ion beam experiment thus began in the dead of night. But the accelerator malfunctioned. Abe woke up the physicists in charge of the equipment. "The samples won't last. Please come right away," she exclaimed. At first, the physicists were not happy about being woken up, but Abe's enthusiasm was infectious. They were soon won over and became collaborators.
人間関係でなんかこれには協力するけどこれには協力しないとかどうかありますけど、全くないですね。
私よりプロの方っていうのはどの分野にもいらっしゃって、で自分が手を出すよりもそういう方に協力してもらった方が研究がはるかにうまくいく。
A year later, after the experiment, the garden industry researcher returned with a photo. Look, a mutation. Now Abe had proof that the accelerator method was effective. She's learned other things from using the accelerator.
研究に壁を作らないというか、異分野の人たちとも仲良くして、巻き込んでいくっていうことでしょうかね。壁って自分が作ってる気がするんですよね。だから、自分が自分のエリアとか自分の壁とか決めるんだったら、それはまず一番最初に取っ払っちゃえば、そこはもう無限に広がる可能性なので。
Kamaishi City, Iwate Prefecture.
おー、きれい。
Abe co-designed an observation tank with the Iwate Fisheries Technology Center for her seaweed variety improvement research. These tanks let researchers easily compare how variations in the heavy ion beam's type and strength affect plant growth. Her goal is to develop seaweed that can grow quickly anywhere. There are people waiting for her results. Rikuzen Takata City, Iwate Prefecture. This man's seaweed farm was washed away by the tsunami. Overall, 60% of Iwate Prefecture's seaweed farms have been restored. However, seaweed growth is easily influenced by the weather and environmental factors, such that each bay is preferred by a different species.
だから成長が悪いと収穫量が減っちゃうと。そうすると金額的に下がって大変なことなんでしょ。
Despite the devastation, he continues his seaweed farming business. He finds strength in his pride for his hometown and the seaweed it's known for.
自信はありますよ。この三陸ブランドっていうか岩手県のブランドは負けたくないじゃないですか。その海の人たちってみんなそうなんですよ。負けず嫌いっていうか。
4 months after the heavy ion beam was used, Abe returned to Kamaishi.
大きい。ほら大きいね。立派立派。
This seaweed hasn't been treated. This one has. The difference is apparent when the largest specimen from each tank is compared. The treated seaweed has grown 1.5 times larger. The first stage in her research has been a success. Next steps involve crossbreeding the seaweed for desired traits. We showed Abe seaweed to the seaweed farmer in Rikuzen Takata and another fellow farmer.
同じこの水槽に入れて1ヶ月でこんな差が出てきたんですよ。
これすごいね。これはいいね。
だけど病気とかつがねえのかな。
だから今から研究なんだねこれ。やってみたいとは思うね。あれはね。
まあ試しには1本でも2本でもやってみて。
大きくだけなってすぐに病気に負けちゃうとか品質が悪くなるのは良くないけど成長に関してはいいと思いますよ。
ありがたい。
Abe's husband, a physicist, had a message.
ありがたいですね。すごいありがたい。あら？
ともちゃん、最近飛び回っているようだけど
誰かと思った。
大丈夫かな。もともと君は体がしっかりしてる方だけど過信は禁物だからちゃんと検査をして元気でやっていこうね。君の今の技術が世界中に広がって世界の人々を少しでも幸せになるよう僕も応援しているから頑張っていこう。
あら、こんなの撮ってたの？びっくり。お医者さん嫌いだって怒られちゃうんですけど、はい、実際に私たちが植えてるところに見に来ていただいて選んでいただいてもいいかと思うんですね。僕はこれが好きみたいな、そういう選抜の仕方っていうのも面白いんじゃないかなと今思いつきました。やっぱりこれからは世界中の要望に応えられる でみんな美味しいものを食べて綺麗な花を見てニコニコした生活ができるようになるような技術に育てていきたいと思ってます。
Utsuda-san, before the use of the heavy ion beams we just saw, it used to take an enormous amount of time to develop an improved variety of a crop.
It certainly did. Now, for example, koshihikari, which we're all very familiar with, it's a popular variety of Japanese rice, and that actually took 12 years to develop.
12 years? Why did it take so long?
Well, to create the koshihikari, I have a picture over here, they had to crossbreed two types of rice, one being disease resistant and the other being high in crop yield and tasting delicious. And so by crossbreeding, you could create a strain carrying all of these traits. But to stabilize the quality, several generations of the crossbred rice needed to be raised, and that's why it took so long to develop koshihikari.
Wow, 12 years of growing generation after generation of rice must have been painstaking. After the break, we'll be showing you an episode from a popular economics program, Gachiri Monday. Stay tuned.
ยังจำได้หรือเปล่านะเรื่องต่างๆที่เกิดขึ้นตอนวาดรูปนี้แต่ถ้ารถยนต์ในฝันของฉันมีจริงฉันคงจะมีความสุขมากเลย
My parents work at a really great company, which makes cool computers and LCD TVs. Not only that, they build elevators for skyscrapers and zooming fast bullet trains. My mom designs the company's CT scan systems, which spot diseases. My dad develops power generation systems so people will have plenty of electricity. The company where my parents work is Toshiba.
Has anybody finished doing their pictures?
I have.
All around the world, Toshiba technology is hard at work, bringing smarter, faster, more sustainable development to life.
When I grow up, I want to work for people.
For a growing future, Toshiba.
How do we build sustainability into our relationship with Mother Earth? That's Kaiteki, Mitsubishi Chemical Holdings.
Asia, the engine of the global economy. Japan, a regional powerhouse. And now, direct from Japan, economic news with a global impact in Chinese and English, delivered by Nikkei. Read the future, lead the economy. Nikkei, Japan's leading media for business.
You're watching Channel Japan. We are going to show you an episode from a popular Japanese economics program. Today it's from Gachiri Monday by TBS. Today's episode focuses on cushions.
Cushions. When I hear cushions, what comes to mind is sofa cushions, cushions on beds, mattresses, that kind.
Yes, those are cushions too. And as a matter of fact, cushions as a whole are indispensable in our daily lives. For example, there are cushions used for refrigerator doors,
I see.
shoe soles, and also car bumpers.
I see. So if you start including those shock-absorbing cushions, I suppose you could say cushions are practically everywhere.
Yes. So today we show you companies that have increased their business results by developing different kinds of cushions. Take a look.
The cushion is an indispensable item in our daily life. It's used on refrigerator doors, bases, shoe soles, and even car bumpers. In this episode, we explore the secrets of cushions, a ubiquitous presence in our everyday life.
タグボート用のクッション材になりますね。
Cushions are necessary for tugboats, pushing gigantic ships.
音を静かにさせるためのクッション材をハニカム構造体の中に入れて
A unique soundproof cushion, the first of its kind in the world. How good is it? We'll explore the little-known world of cushions in this episode. The most essential type of cushion in our daily life is the mattress. One company in the town of Kotacho in Aichi Prefecture has been seeing rising sales of mattresses.
11年度で3万枚のマットレスで、12年度で15万枚ほど、5倍ぐらい。
The mattress, named the Airweave, has seen its sales increase by 5 times in 1 year. Its biggest selling point is that it's a high-resilience mattress, in contrast to the low-resilience memory foam mattress that was once all the rage in the mattress industry. The high resilience is due to the cushion, made of polyethylene resin intricately woven together. If you drop an iron ball on regular urethane foam, it sinks. However, on this material, it bounces right back. When numerous Olympic athletes were seen with this product, its popularity quickly picked up. But this company has a unique story about how they came to produce this best-selling mattress.
今から約6年ぐらい前、5年半ぐらい前からこのエアウッドを作り出しまして。それまでは機械を作る。漁網とかですね、釣り糸みたいな。釣り糸？こういう細い糸。この糸を成形する機械を作ってました。
The cushion material was the result of improvements made to the machinery producing fishing lines. But how did they go from fishing lines to cushions?
もともと機械の調整段階で糸をこういう糸を漁網とか釣り糸にするわけです、これを出してそれが調整段階でこういうふうに固まるんです。
Indeed, it was seeing the tangled up fishing lines that inspired the company to make a new type of cushion out of them. To make this, burning hot polyethylene threads are first dropped into a pool of water. The threads bunch together into a ball, weaving in and out of one another, and harden with the coolness of the water. The resilience of the mattress is determined by how bunched together they are, so the speed at which the threads are dropped is key. Then the material is pushed out from the water. These high-resilience mattresses have become popular. They are now used in business and first-class seats. As well as in well-known high-end Japanese-style hotels. Sales have increased from $11,000 2 years ago to $56,000 last year. This year, sales are expected to exceed $102,000, a tenfold increase of sales in 3 years. This next company in Mino City of Gifu Prefecture has developed a cushion for smartphones. This is it, a screen protector.
ぷよシートです。ちょっと待ってください。
True to its name, the material's squishy feeling gives it a nice touch.
液晶画面っていうのは押した感触っていうのがどうしても得られないガラスをタッチした、そういう感触のものですので指で押した感覚っていうのを得たいっていう目的で
作った保護シートです。
The sheet was developed for those preferring the feel of a keyboard rather than a touch screen. But more than its unique texture, its real strength lies in its cushioning ability.
中に衝撃吸収ゲルが入っておりますので、衝撃吸収っていうのがすごく高い商品になっています。
The shock-absorbing gel is said to act as a cushion protecting liquid crystal screens from considerable shocks. We decided to put it to the test. When we dropped a metal ball on a smartphone protected with the sheet,
割れたっぽい。あ、大丈夫だろう。すごい。
leaving only a mark on the sheet, the screen remained fully protected, even when hit repeatedly with a hammer. Still nothing. How did they come up with this product? The company originally made cushions to prevent furniture from tipping over in an earthquake. This cushion material, called urethane gel, has extremely high energy absorbency and is able to disperse shocks instantaneously. And this is what is used for smartphone screen covers. Next, we went to Akashi City in Hyogo Prefecture to visit a company with an 80% global share of a particular type of cushion. The product this company produces is these large black rubber objects.
船を押すためのタグボートの大きな力をですね、クッションで受け止める役目をする、そういった製品です。
This company is the world's leading maker of rubber used for the fender of tugboats, which must push and direct large ships that are unable to move freely around ports. They allowed us to see how their product is made. First, on the most important qualities of rubber used for a tugboat cushion fender.
耐久性ですね。そして強度、そういったものが非常に重要とされていますね。
The most important thing for a tugboat's fender is its durability to withstand massive amounts of pressure without breaking, as well as its elasticity to return to its original shape as soon as the pressure is relieved. To make such a rubber, chemicals are mixed using a top-secret recipe. Only this company can make this special type of rubber. Once the rubber has been spread into thin sheets and is ready to be processed, the sheets are then pasted together one by one manually. This bar-shaped piece of rubber is bent to fit the bow of a ship. And this is as far as they can share with us. The rest is a company secret.
何があるんですか？それは申し上げられませんので、そこが当社の最大の特徴となってますので。
When the rubber bar is bent, the exterior is stretched while the interior is compressed. The durability of the exterior is compromised, leaving it vulnerable to cracks. To prevent this, this company developed the special processing technique. What role does the fender, a cushion for tugboats, play? This part is the fender. It is used to push container ships that need to change direction. But a tire on the fender? Why the double layering of a tire and a fender?
そうですね。ゴール材だけだと硬いんで跳ねてしまうんで、もう一つ柔らかいゴムとしてタイヤをつけてるんで。
First, the tire softens the shock. This is out of consideration for the other ship so as not to leave any marks. But it's the fender that is absorbing all the pressure. Fenders alone generate $36 million in annual sales for the company. Next up is a company in Yamato City of Kanagawa Prefecture that has developed a cushion using a first-ever innovative technology. This is the cushion. It looks like it's made out of a green sponge-like material. What exactly does it do?
断面図がこちらになるんですけども、音を静かにさせるためのクッション材をハニカム構造体の中に入れてできた世界初の防音パネルになるんです。防音パネル？はい。
The world's first soundproof panel using a honeycomb structure is named Hitori Shizuka, a wordplay on a Japanese plant name that roughly translates to quiet on its own. This cushion absorbs sound. It's actually the water-absorbing sponge that you see in flower stores.
吸水スポンジというのはですね、お水を吸うためにも無数な迷路のような細かいミクロの穴が開いてるんですけども、実はそこはお水を入れなければ空洞になるので、音がその中で迷って静かになるものにはもってこいなんですね。
Traditionally, urethane and glass wool were mainly used for soundproofing, but it turns out that these sponges are superior in sound absorbency with their tiny cavities. By stuffing them into honeycomb structure sheets, you get a panel that is both durable and soundproof. The best use for these panels is putting them on the floor. You can jump on them all you want. Without worrying about your neighbors downstairs. When staff jumped up and down on a bare floor, versus a floor with one of these panels, the difference was clear. The water-absorbing material it's made of is also particularly adept at absorbing low-pitched sounds. Here is a box with traditional soundproofing material. And with the Hitori Shizuka panel, a near-perfect absorbency of noise. So who are the biggest users of these panels?
基本的にやっぱり工場様に納めていることが多いですね。機械音の対策ですとか、環境対策ですとか、そういったところが多いですね。
They can be used as panels to cover machinery entirely. The company has increased production to meet growing demand.
We just saw many kinds of cushions, but what surprised me the most is a company that originally made machines for manufacturing fishing lines unexpectedly developed a bed mattress.
Actually, there are other cases where a product was created accidentally and became a hit.
What else is there?
Well, one example are these disposable hot packs. We use them in the winter, and we keep warm by using them, putting them in our pockets, and they heat up on their own. And these packs were created by accident, so to speak, because at first the company was developing oxygen absorbers, which are used to prolong the shelf lives of snacks and sweets. You find those little white packets.
Yes. So how did an oxygen absorber lead to hot packs?
Well, to increase the efficiency of the oxygen absorber, the developers added iron, which caused the product to heat up. And so they used this chemical behavior to create a product that was innovative back then, this disposable packet that heats up instantly.
So a new product was developed by seeing things from a different perspective. Well, that's it for this edition of Channel Japan. We have much more for you next week, so make sure you tune in.
Traditional,
Consistent.
precise,
Speedy.
professional, innovative,
polite. Quality from Japan, the best of business in Asia. SMBC, Sumitomo Mitsui Banking Corporation.
Where we see nothing, there could be anything. Panasonic is putting the endless energy of the sun to work. Generating, storing, and managing energy efficiently. Helping power our daily lives.
A better life, a better world. Panasonic.
The view is almost like peering down on the star-filled night sky at your feet. It's the city at night seen from a height of 450 meters. Make unforgettable memories. City light stretching for as far as the eye can see. Find it at Tokyo Skytree.
Channel Japan. Your source for the voices and views of people and businesses across Japan. The latest reports on Japanese companies, culture, and technology. Find out what's happening on the ground. Every week, direct from Tokyo, Channel Japan.